Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker and honorable members. Part of a comprehensive response to global economic trade flow disruptions is the acceleration of the diversification of markets and products of the South African exports. While we are actively engaged with both the European Union and the United States on negotiating trade agreements, we are prioritizing the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and expanding export initiatives to established as well as emerging markets globally. The aim is to expand opportunities for South African products across a range of sectors to develop increased resilience of South African exports in dynamic global markets and to manage the risk that results from targeting too few markets. While the recent tariffs are likely to disrupt export flows, they can also serve as a catalyst for deeper continental integration and faster implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area's trade liberalization as well as industrialization agenda. Now, our country's strategic investment drive aims to attract increased foreign direct investment and reinforce domestic investment in key productive sectors. Priority areas include manufacturing, renewable energy, mining beneficiation, ICT, agriculture, and agro-processing. These are all important for expanding industrial capacity in our country and also promoting localization and creating sustainable employment. Over the past few months, I have personally engaged with many investors to ensure that we both understand impediments to investment and work closely with ministers to ensure that we create an investor-friendly environment. In my recent trip to these 4 countries, as I said, a number of ministers came along, and some we traveled together on the Inkwazi, the plane that the president uses. And in one of those trips, Minister Steenhuisen, Minister Nchabeni, and Lamula were in, and Steenhuisen said, "Oh, Mr. President, there isn't even a drink on this plane." And he said, "This looks like a Santaco plane." But we were scouring the whole Southeast Asian basin, and we were seeing a number of investors, a number of governments, and I do believe that there is a deep hunger in those markets to trade with our country. And in some ways, there are markets that we had not really laid more emphasis on. And now, because the crisis that we're facing with the United States has created an opportunity for us, a great opportunity, and they also see exactly the same, because most of their trade has been directed towards exploiting that very big market of some 260, 270 people. Now they want to diversify. So we have been at work to try and diversify our markets through strategic infrastructure investment in our own country in energy and transport and digital systems. We are improving industrial competitiveness, reducing the cost of doing business, and supporting long-term economic growth. Because for us to be able to capture the prospect and the promise of those markets, we do need, in more ways than one, to improve ourselves, to make ourselves much more attractive to investors to come and invest here. And we've been telling those we've been meeting that we are the gateway into the African continent, and correctly so, they also realize it. This is further advanced through policy and regulatory reforms that we have embarked upon to make our country much more of an investment-friendly country. Now, partnerships with the private sector and development finance institutions are being used to mobilize capital for strategic projects while promoting green and inclusive industrialization. The B20 process, which is part of the G20 whole system. It's taking place alongside the G20 and is an important opportunity as many business people from various companies will be thronging to our country to be part of the G20 process under the aegis of the B20. And we will then have in many bilateral opportunities and seek partnerships, and I do believe achieve greater understanding of the many opportunities that we will display to them and showcase. All these interventions that we are making are aligned with our country's commitments under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is aimed at diversifying the economy, strengthening local value chains, and positioning our country as a leading investment destination on the continent. None of the various companies that we met, including countries, sees anything negative with us. They just want to come and invest here. But we should not rest on our laurels. We should improve ourselves so that we become an oasis of success and a center of great investment that they can come and place here.